Hi all, I'm Al Deldegan, the creator and producer of the Libby podcast. This 100% volunteer-run show was born out of the Rainforest Alberta movement and features incredible people who are leaders, innovators, and have big ideas. This episode is hosted by Rea Hailley, and it is the 9th episode of her series. Today, her guest is Ina Maria Toncescu. Rea, the mic is yours.
Hi everyone, I'm Rea Hailley, co-founder of New Idea Machine. We help businesses save 30 to 50% on subscription fees with custom app development. Welcome to 5 questions and 1 wild story, fempreneurs to watch for. Today's fempreneur to watch is Ina Maria Toncescu. Hi Ina, so excited to chat with you.
Hello. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Let's dive in. Ina, what do you do and why is it important?
So I am a full service digital marketer. So I focus on pretty much any business owner that needs to be in front of the online community. Think of when people are searching for you online or when somebody's Googling a service or an idea or a question. I am the reason why our customers actually show up. Their websites will show up, their social media will show up, and so on. And I focus on the holistic approach of marketing, where we do everything from the website development to social media management, but also the email marketing and the running of ads, and even down to the customer service and how we treat the customers when they actually come, what the journey of the customer is when they actually come to interact with your business. Yeah, and why it's important, honestly, I don't think, especially in this world where, especially with AI, obviously, playing such a huge role in being able to give answers to people that are searching for things online, you have to be not only competitive with other people, but also competitive with the information that is being put out online. So my job is to get our customers to the forefront as fast as possible and make their business stand out. And I don't think in this world that is so online heavy, you can run a business in most cases without having a solid foundation in marketing.
Agreed. And what people may not know about you, Ina, is that you really are about getting results in the shortest amount of time possible. Obviously, you and I have spoken before, and that's one thing that really impressed me and stood out. A lot of people can offer marketing, but it takes a select few to offer incredible results in the shortest amount of time possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank you for saying that, actually. So we have a tagline, slogan. We call it marketing that works. And we highlight the works part. And the reason for that is because we have found there's a lot of ideas out there and how we can do it. And there's a lot of what I usually call copy pasta or copy paste of the exact same thing. So one of the things that we separate ourselves from the industry is we don't do the exact same thing for any client whatsoever. There's no pre-driven report. We actually focus on curating every one of our services to the client themselves because their experiences are so unique. And that's actually why things end up being a lot shorter, because it's everything to do with their company and their actual audience. And we're not applying all of our knowledge and trying to give the one answer fixing everybody's problem kind of thing. And it has shown results. The way we do it does tend to give you faster results that way.
Awesome. I think that's why I instantly like you, Ina. I'm all about fast results.
I love it.
So what surprised you the most about becoming an entrepreneur?
I always said that I've actually wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was 16. I said I was either going to be a psychologist or I'm going to be an entrepreneur. One way or the other, I'm going to do something on my own. What I didn't realize was that marketing was going to be the psychology part in my entrepreneurship. And so I've actually gotten to do everything that I love. What I didn't realize is the amount of joy and peace you'll actually find, like amid the chaos. You wake up and clients texting you, they can't get into their accounts because they kept putting the different passwords and they forgot we changed a password a week into meeting and so on. And everybody's losing their heads, whatever. And you wake up to that. And though it's chaotic, I laugh every single day. There's just no day where I'm not smiling. There's no day when I'm not happy. And even our clients will always be like, how are you such in a good mood when we're in the middle of things not working. And I'm like, because that's the challenge. That is the best part of the day. I'm so grateful every single day. And I guess the biggest surprise has been the amount of joy that I would get out of it. It is that, that old saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I think it's like beyond that. Like it is loving every single thing that I do, but also loving life as a result of doing every single thing that I love.
Yes. And you put in some pretty insane hours. Like what's your typical day like?
Yeah. So I'm up around 6 o'clock in the morning and I tend to start work around 8 a.m. We want to stop around 8 p.m. So let's call it about 12 hours, but it doesn't work that way. So we're usually working till 10, 11 sometimes. We do take days off, I swear. Sometimes, especially for our birthdays and whatnot. Holidays, they don't really matter for us, especially because for American clients, not the holidays don't always match up to the Canadian clients. So we're always working. But on most days, we're working about 14, 15, 16 hours and loving every single piece of it.
Amazing. Yeah, I don't know how you're doing it, but clearly you're in the right role, without a doubt.
Yeah, it gets tiring sometimes.
I bet. Now, have there been times that you wanted to quit? And if so, what's kept you going?
Yeah, I will say that there are days when it is quite heavy. And this is because it's not just our own company, right? Like we're handling other people's companies as well. We're handling sometimes their entire online communication to their clients, sometimes their only connection to the clients. So there are days when it gets very hectic. You'll notice that everybody sort of ebbs and flows through the year, but we all have the same pattern of being busy and being quiet. And so it often gets busy at the exact same time for every single person. Yeah. And so except for, I'd say maybe one or two, most of our folks are usually in that same sort of sine curve of busy and not. And as a result of that, it gets extremely stressful. But when you have, of course, a lot of personal things at the same time, especially when you're a small business, personal things are almost attached to your business no matter what. You don't really have a choice. And so if you're in that and, now you have a house that is flooding 9 times in 3 weeks and you still have to do your 14 hours of work for your clients and they're all like, where's this? Which you never want to be in. We always love to be ahead of time. And so being behind, it gets pretty tough. So I will tell you that the time that my house flooded 9 times in 3 weeks, I almost said, maybe I need a full-time job. Maybe it would just be better to do a 9 to 5 where it's somebody else's problem and I can just go home or take the day off and take a vacation day or a leave or whatever to deal with the house because you can't separate your business. So it does get tough. And there have been days like that, especially with having a home that was breaking down every way you turned, there was something wrong. But beyond all of that, what has kept me going is that same joy that I talk about. There's nothing that has ever made me as happy as doing what I do today.
Amazing. Yeah. I agree with you. I have that same feeling. Some days I think, God, it would be so much easier if I just had a 9 to 5 job. But then I think back to the time when I did have a 9 to 5 job and it was almost suffocating. Running your own business, yes, the stress is through the roof. Like it's a whole other level of responsibility and commitment. However, you're still steering your own ship. So you have that and the satisfaction that comes with those wins that do come along. And it's like an addictive drug. You just can't give it up.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And it's setting your own goals. I think entrepreneurs are built a little different. Like we have to set our own goals. We have to keep our own motivation going. We don't have this sales goals that other people set for us and we just have to reach it. We have to go, okay, I want to make $100,000 by 6 weeks from now. And I want to do this. And you have to actually physically do that. You're the one who puts it on the map. You're the one who draws in how far you've gone and all of that stuff. Are virtually doing it nowadays. But you are in charge of everything. And I actually think it is addictive. You're right. I do feel addicted to the feeling of setting myself higher goals and everything. And like I'm in the process of getting a new car and we're looking at different options, my partner and I I turned to my partner and I said, I want a nicer car and this is the time I want to do this. And then he goes, yeah, let's look at a couple of the higher brands. Nothing too crazy I don't like. And we're looking at a Lexus. And I'm a huge fan because they last a long time. They're reliable cars. And I said, yeah, I want the nicer one. But you know what? Before I get there, I want to set myself another thing. So how about I'm going to make sure I get us another 30 grand for the company. And when I hit that number, I'll go buy the Lexus. And that was it. And it's just, for me, it's just setting my own motivation in place. Like, that is it. As soon as I get to, so I know I will. And now I know I'll get that car because there's nothing in between that.
Yes. And I do believe that you have to be a little bit crazy to be an entrepreneur. I don't know anyone who would willingly walk into this lifestyle and go, yeah, sure, I will trade my peace of mind for constant worry and challenges and super high expectations of myself willingly. Like, I really do think there has to be a degree of craziness to take that on.
Yeah, there is. There's I think a filter that has broken inside of us. And actually, I put a quote on one of our clients' social media, their business conference. And it's something to do with that. It's when people call you crazy and you just keep doing it. Yeah. And it's that feeling like, I love proving people wrong.
Yes.
It's a thing for me. And so I want to show you what I can do. And if you say I can't do that, I probably will do it because you said I can't. I probably would have changed my own mind if you didn't say anything, but I'm very much a competitive individual. And I'm not just competitive with the outside world. It's being competitive with oneself. Yeah. And I think that's where it really starts from. I think entrepreneurship is honestly where we think differently. I think we use different parts of our brains. And I actually think it's obviously what drives the economy, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yes, I know. And I love that. Like, I'm going to do it just to spite you. Just because you said, I can't do it. Now watch me.
Yeah. Like, the best inventions that have ever come out is from somebody going and identifying a problem and trying to solve it. Those people are constantly seeing things that we're not seeing. Yeah. And they're not reinventing the wheel all the time. They're simply just fixing an existing problem. And that is what I love about, people that think differently are the ones that are actually creating change and doing something better for the world most times.
Yes. I'm really curious. Like, this is not one of the standard questions, but do you apply that line of thinking to your marketing strategy? Are you looking at it and going, like, this is how people typically approach marketing, and these are the typical results, but how can we tweak it to improve it, optimize it, all that good stuff?
Every day. So I had a client, so I've never really seen anyone else do this, and she's an insurance agent. And I said, then be different. Yeah. He said, that's actually what will probably make you stand out the most. And for me, I want that sort of like candid feeling. For example, I look at analytics very heavily. I am analytics driven. If I see within the week, if your audience has changed even by 1% or 2%, I start making note of that and actually changing the strategy. I'll either, for example, like if it's more, how on Instagram, it'll show you men, women as a breakdown. And I will actually, even if 1% goes up in women, I will start adding a little bit, like one more extra sentence that will be a little more emotional and a little bit more nurturing, because we tend to react to captions that are a little more emotional than more straight fact. And so we need a little bit of both. So as the percentage goes up, which is most of my clients are women, as the percentage goes up, I will, and that's my goal. My goal is to increase that percent, because most of my clients being women also actually often advertise to women. And so if that is the case, then I will actually go and tell them, you need to write this, and here's what I think you should write. And I challenge that status quo, and I challenge what people are doing all the time. I do not believe that AI is the only answer. I actually really tell people to be more human, and the ones that are following the advice, the ones that don't follow the articles that say put your hashtags inside of your actual posts instead of your comments. Every article will tell you to do that. I tell you the opposite, and I can show you over and over that I've been right. And it's because of constant testing. Like I take a lot of time to research and a lot of time to see what happens when you do it differently.
That's incredible. And that's what I love about you, Ina. Like you really do look at things so differently, and you're so invested in your client's success. It's like their success is your success. And
it is.
That's very apparent to me, like from the very first time that we talked.
Thank you. That means a lot. It is my success. And I tell them that every single day. The better you do, the better I do. My baby, and this is always my sentence, my baby is my work for you, my delivery to you. But your baby is your business. So the more you succeed, the happier you are, the more you smile when I send you things, the more you're willing to work with me the next time, the easier my life becomes to be able to be your marketer, the better I can service you, and so on. And it's always a win-win situation. But I have to be that like domino that starts that relationship of win-win. And so even just forget about me as an individual, as a person, or as someone who just whatever naturally cares, because it is in me to do that as part of my personality. But in a strategic thinking, it only makes sense for me to care this much. I have to care because the better they do, the better I will be. Before rebranding my business, I didn't do a single ounce of cold calling or outreach or running ads. I didn't even finish my website until 3 years later. And the reason why is because I was word of mouth. It was always somebody going, you got to help this girl. You got to see this girl. She's going to help you or whatnot. It was always somebody saying or telling somebody else about Ina. And so now is really the first time after 6 years of doing this, venturing out doing cold calling. And even those folks, because of their experiences, tend to tell other people about it before they even start with me. That's where I want to be. I want somebody to know that I care from day one, because if you feel like we are partners in this, the relationship is so much more and it'll flourish so much faster.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, now what are people most surprised to learn about you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, most surprised to learn about me. You know what? I will tell you, this is a funny one, okay? This is because most people see me online. And then when you finally meet me in person, they actually all say the same thing. They go, oh my God, you're so short. And I think it's because I am a pretty grand personality, I would say, online. And I do speak with my shoulders forward. I'm very invested in the conversation. And I guess my camera maybe makes me very tall, but I'm 4'11" and 3/4 inches tall. But between us and the podcast listeners and everybody else, I tell everybody else I'm 5 feet tall. But yeah, most things, honestly, just on a really silly level, it's how short I am.
I remember you sharing the story of you being mistaken for a little kid and when you're crossing the street.
Yes. And I was offended. I was like, but I have gray hair. It's like I had a backpack on and everything. I sound like a child. I have the cheeks of a child. And so therefore it just makes sense that I was walked across the street by a crossing guard.
Yes. It's a compliment. I can't see any gray hair and I wish I had your cheek. So you're rocking it.
Oh gosh, they help for the most part. Except when you're crossing the street.
Yes, except when you're crossing the street.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give other female entrepreneurs?
Oh, I have a really big one. Actually, I'm going to give you two. This is two big ones, actually. Authentically yourself is always the best way to go, no matter what, no matter how many people disagree, no matter how many people would advise you to do things differently, or how many things you see online that are doing better. If you see accounts that have 250,000 followers and you want to be like them, don't worry, about 25% of them are actually fake. And I can show you how to find that. But I will tell you that if you build it, they will come. But you have to be authentically yourself and actually trust in that as much as possible. And just don't falter. And sometimes things take a long time to get there. So just be yourself as much as possible. It will always pan out. As soon as I was just into who I am, and I don't care how short I am. And I used to hide my curly hair, for example. I don't care. That is my favorite part of me, actually. And it's a part of my identity. And I used to worry about the fact that I don't speak English as my second language, right? So I'll often make mistakes in my language, even though most people don't pick up right away. I know I've made mistakes. And I used to actually get in my head about it. Now I just am who I am, and it has always worked out better. And then the second thing is really just to trust your own intuition. If you're an entrepreneur, you led yourself that way because you knew that was the best thing for you, to trust in what is telling you what is right. And I think 9 times out of 10, that will also work out for you very well. Your intuition is what got you here in the first place.
That is so true. And it's been my experience that you likely encounter a lot of people with their own opinion that they're happy to share with you, even though you didn't ask, that will tell you how they think you should run your business, which to me is not, I can't imagine telling someone how to run their business. Like I might say, have you thought about perhaps this angle? But to flat out say, no, you're doing it all wrong. You should run it this way is mind-boggling to me. And I think trusting your intuition is so key to succeeding the way that you want to succeed on your own terms.
Yeah, don't go against your own grain. You're the one that's going to have to lead that path and walk it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship is hard enough, so you might as well do it on your terms.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun while you're at it. And when you're having fun, that's actually when the clients come as well. Because even when you're feeling stress, I know a lot of folks don't realize, but even if you've had a bad night's sleep, people can tell. Like they won't be able to tell just simply in your voice, or you might be yawning or your actual action. But I call it like wearing your feelings on your sleeve all the time. Like you are much more transparent than you think you are. It's in how long your sentences are, where you put your punctuation and your verbal communication with people. All of that stuff really shows. And I think it's really important to just let go and just trust in you and you alone. Let everybody give their opinions. Hey, everybody's entitled to one, but only you know why you started. You know your why. And the closer you fly to your own sun, the more likely I believe you are to succeed.
Yes, I love that. I love that analogy. Okay, question for you. What's your one wild story?
I'm actually going to tell you one. You asked me this and I said it will come. I will tell you about the intuition side of things because I really want to sort of segue into what I just said. I was leaving my very sad government job back just before the pandemic. And it was 5:00 and I was leaving just a little bit after 5 because I always had to leave a little later. And I get in the car and I thought, man, I haven't seen my family in a couple of weeks. And I thought it's very unusual for me to do that. Okay. And I said, you know what, if something happened to me today, like when's the last time I told everybody I loved them? And so I was driving home and my drive home was at least an hour and 40 minutes. So sometimes about 2 hours and 20 minutes, but let's say an hour and 40 minutes. So I knew I was going to have time to chat with everyone. So I started dialing everyone and I was dialing my dad, my mom, everybody on a loan, my sister, my partner at that point, all of that stuff. Okay. And I called every single person that was close to me that I love. And my partner was the last person I was on the phone with. And right as I hang up, I say I'm only about 5 minutes away from home. I get hit by a car from behind me. I was at the ramp to exit off the highway and he hit me at about 90 kilometers an hour. And so I was basically stopped. Like it was just like completely standstill traffic to exit. And I flew pretty far. I'm not sure if the man's wife passed because she was very much hurt in the accident, from what I remember. But it also caused me to have about 1.5 years of physiotherapy. And I still to this day have pain from that car accident. This is now 6 years, almost 7 years ago. I will tell you, and the reason why I'm saying this to you is that is one of the moments that changed my life and the way that I approach life. Not just because I was almost a little too close to the things none of us want to get to, but also because there was something in me that told me to do what I had done just before that. And so when I feel like when something says, don't go this way, I actually listen that much. I am loudly listening to my intuition. I believe that being connected to yourself on a level, like a deeper level of listening to every single thing that is making you uncomfortable is so important on a personal level. And then once you start listening there, it affects your professional level in very positive ways. And that is one of the moments where I realized that maybe I should have stayed later than I should have at work, or maybe I should have left on time. I never stayed late again after that moment because I was like, I'm not giving my life to anything except what actually drives me. And I started my company about 1 year later, of course, it was fully running. But it was just that intuition stuff. So I think I have to urge everyone to really listen to themselves a lot more than they think. It's not just that strategy side. It's what makes you feel good. Does this partnership make you feel good? Are your clients the ones you actually want? We don't work with anyone that doesn't want to work with us. And we don't work with anyone that is mean or has any bad intentions, because that goes against my grain as an individual. I can't have anyone that goes outside of my values. And so we're very strict, and that has, as I followed this intuition that I'm talking about, always done better. And I think it's because of that one time.
Wow. Yes, no kidding. That's quite the wake-up call, isn't it?
Yeah. It very much changed my trajectory in life.
Yes, it most certainly did. So I'd love to ask you a follow-up question, if you're okay. On that note of saying no to potential clients, like that can be really hard for entrepreneurs to do, especially when they're starting out.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? If you're talking to somebody that's a potential client and something in you is going, there's nothing you could put your finger on, but something in you is going, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to approach it. I will tell you right now, I used to be worried about that. And I think it actually cost my company more money. I've actually had folks that have been clients that I actually was warned about them in advance. I was actually warned not to even be friends with them, kind of thing. And I never really, thank goodness, I never went to that way. But over time, especially in the small business thing, people tend to become very close, because now you, like I said earlier, people's lives very much touch onto people's business lives as well. And so I kept a little bit of a distance, but I still knew a lot of this one experience that I'm referring to, a lot of her life. And it affected me greatly, because I started making a lot of adjustments based on what she requested, all the way to the point of being questioned on how much I was charging, for example, being questioned that it was taking me 20 minutes to edit a 2-hour video and things like that. So it started getting a little too comfortable. Now, that experience is not alone. This is one of the very first ones in my earlier times in running this business, but I will tell you that it has been extremely costly to go with people that are not the right individuals for you and for your values. You don't see it in the process, because obviously there's that sort of like desperation or place of scarcity, of course, as an entrepreneur. When you're first starting out, your budget is probably non-existent, right? And so if that is the case, then of course it makes business sense on a binary 0-1 calculation. It makes sense to say yes, but really and truly, I actually believe you're hurting yourself in a long term. And I think that entrepreneurship should be a long-term game. So I will tell you that saying no is really hard. I might actually even just say sometimes we don't even say no. Sometimes we just highlight the things that we stand for, and that tends to push people away. And I'm also very strict. So if I notice that somebody has an attitude problem, for example, which we do not deal with people who are just, I don't want to say like disrespectful, but just folks that are just generally not respectful of your time, or not understanding that things can't just move at the last minute and things like that. We simply say, hey, listen, just so you know, before this goes any further, here's what we have as how we work. We want to work with you. We want to be respectful of your time, but this is where our boundaries are. And I do believe that setting healthy boundaries is extremely important in business, especially at the beginning, because whatever you do at the very start of your business, think of it as putting the building blocks of your business. This is the foundation. This is like the brick and not in Canada, but people build with like bricks and cement, right? Like they actually put that stuff together. I'm talking about that. That's your business. And so if you're setting, for example, the culture that you will change at the last minute, the culture that you will take being yelled at, the culture that you will take having scopes of work, for example, being asked to do things like, at one point I was behind of a point of sale system in a social enterprise. And I was like, what am I doing here? That's not even what I'm here for. I'm supposed to be doing policies and teaching the marketing department. And I'm over here cashing out your lattes. And so it's like, how did I get here? And so those are the things to take it from people who have been through it. I didn't say no because I wanted to take every client that I could get. And it cost me my time, my opportunity, the ability to find more clients and so on. It is much more costly. I want you to sit down, make a note of all of the things that you're saying yes to, and all of the things you could have said yes to, would you have had the time and the mental capacity to do so when you're not frustrated dealing with people who, frankly, are not worth your time?
Yeah, such valuable advice. Thank you for that, Ina. I think that's something that every entrepreneur needs to know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Ina as much as I did. If you're a fempreneur and would like to be a guest on the podcast, please reach out. I'd love to speak with you. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Why not become a podcast host yourself? Libby is a community podcast, and we would love to have your voice as a host or a guest. Check out show.libby.ca for more information, show notes, and links for every episode.
This episode is brought to you by New Idea Machine, a unique blend of a tech incubator and a software development powerhouse. We're not just building software, we're crafting the next generation of homegrown tech wizards. Got a project in mind or looking to hire fresh talent? Reach out and let's make tech magic happen. Visit newideamachine.com for more info.
Music for the show was created by Tony Del Degan.